Oh. Good morning. Good morning. It snuck up on me. Didn't even see that it said you're live. Wow. Okay. So good morning. Today is Friday, January 30th, 2026, the last Friday of the month. One more day, then it's February. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. This is Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and other interested people on their journey through this life. Right, that's it. This is not G School. This is Department of Career Services, and this is day 5 in week 1 of our neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Let me have a little sip. Not too shabby. So day 5, week 1 in our 4-week, 4 weeks, 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thought I heard people out there for a second. 7 days a week. 28 days. 4 weeks, the 28 days broken up into 4 weeks, each week with a different theme that builds on the previous week, but you can join it anytime, because if you do the 4 weeks, you're going to get everything. This is week 1, overview and orientation. Where we're trying to understand that over the next 4 weeks, we want to answer 2 questions. Who am I, and why do I behave the way I do? Because if I can answer those 2 questions, then I can dial in who I need to be right now. That's it. That is it. So I can become my most effective, best self now if I know who I am and why I do what I do. And again, here, this is a what? A neuroscience approach, not a psychology approach, not a spiritual, not a astrological, meteorological, cosmological, cosmopolitological. It's not that. It is a neurological. How does the brain work? Who am I? Got 100 trillion cells. None of them know who I am. None of them care who I am. And yet I am me, and I have some level of effectiveness. The goal is to be as effective as possible. Right. Okay. Good. So, moving right along. Our theme of today is over here, the day after. The day after what? Right, the day after yesterday. What does that mean? Well, yesterday, if you were here, our podcast was very short because it was the pit count, the point in time count, the once a year count of the homeless people. And let's just say there's room for improvement. Let's just say there's room for improvement. But it's over, and it was a very good experience for me. Got to spend time with Frank Esposito, about 4 hours. That's always enjoyable. And then we had lunch, and I had class last night. So yesterday was a long beep day. The pit count is when they go out and see the people who are living out. It's kind of like a time capsule. You can imagine how people coming across the prairies, coming across through the Great Plains, over the Rocky Mountains, etc. How when they hunkered down to survive. But now they're living off, well, like then, living off the scraps of the land. So there's some kind of thing to live in. I don't know where they get these travel trailers and fifth wheels. Somewhere. And they live in them and they're filthy. And there's junk all over the yard. But they have these little communities of people, and their day is spent getting stuff to get to the next day. Food, clothing, hygiene. And they're not trying to integrate. They've lost hope in the system. And yeah. Mm-hmm. An ethical idealist. That's from one of our talks. Okay, who cares about that? Let's see, what is the advice from an 80-year-old? Boom. Beware of the person who has nothing to lose. No. That was yesterday's. Okay, today. Live your life so your epitaph could read, no regrets. Live your life so your epitaph could read, no regrets. Something's going wrong here. Sorry, people. Well, we'll have to go back and look at that. Okay, no regrets. How about Seth Godin? What does Seth Godin have to tell us today? AI ads are neither AI nor ads. The problem started with search and it was weaponized by Amazon. Display ads go back at least 100 years. A century ago, the idea was simple. Show up in a place where people are offering up attention and tell a story. The advertiser pays the media for the attention they're using, and the consumer may find interest, amusement, or at the very least, tolerance for the fact that the media costs them less than it would without the ads. Right. If you're going to pay for advertising, I don't have to pay as much for the cost of production. Direct marketing. Named by the late Lester Wunderman, took the idea much further. This is action advertising. Measured, direct marketing keeps score, quickly evolves into something targeted and far more useful. Classified ads are direct, as is effective non-junk mail. Google built an empire on this idea. When you do a search for left-handed widgets, the sellers of those widgets know that this is a great place to invest in running an ad. Google built an effective measurement tool, and soon $1 ad buys became $1 million ad buys. If it works, do it more. But Amazon turned this into a tax by incorporating barely concealed ads as search results. They corrupted the value of their shopping search engine. They confused consumers at the same time. They stole margin from suppliers and ultimately increased the price that everyone pays for just about everything. Amazon sellers don't want to buy more ads. In fact, they only do it because they have no choice. When AI starts to incorporate ads, the corruption and lack of trust will only increase. Permission marketing is the idea that we can deliver anticipated, personal, and relevant ads to the people who want to get them. When I built this idea in 1992, it recognized that attention was precious and that trust was at the heart of every sustainable business. When you burn trust to get attention, you end up with nothing of value. AI and search ads are about confusing and tricking users, burning trust, and ultimately taxing any entity that is willing to pay money for attention, particularly those that feel they have no choice. The AI won't recommend the best choice. It'll point to the highest bidder. The more they conceal the fact, the more money they'll make for a while. AI companies say they're trying to be a trusted, independent tool. Ads are optimized when we benefit from the stories they tell. AI ads ruin both. It's unlikely that this will be regulated anytime soon, but AI brands that want to earn the benefit of the doubt would be wise to do what early magazines, modern TV, and even the Yellow Pages did. Make it crystal clear that the ads are the ads. They work best when we know they are and what we want them and we want them there. And worst when we forget that search is a tool, not another chance to hustle customers. Of course, with alternatives just a click away, they're not going to have much luck clearly labeling the ads as ads. That's why Google ultimately corrupted their clear division between the two. Every time you make the line more blurred, revenue goes up. We don't need more hustle. We need more trust. Okay, that was a long one, and my brain was racing, so I have no idea what it was about. What? Yeah. Okay, we got a few minutes left. Let's talk about Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl. He is recognized by many as the third Viennese school of psychology. Freud, Jung, Frankl. Jewish, Freud. I don't know about Jung. I kind of think Jung was not. But Frankl was sharp guy, World War II, flee to America, leave your family to go to the camps or go to. He went to. He went to. And survived it. And being a professional in that environment who survived, he was able to discuss it at a level that non-trained people could do, sort of like Johann Hari dealing with addiction. From the inside, they're experiencing it from the inside, not the outside, from the inside. So here's the fundamental stuff to take away from Frankl, then we'll build up how we get there. We can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. We can't control what happens to us. We can control how we respond. So regarding Frankl, here's the story, main truth, I don't know, was The Nazis say to Frankel, "What is your mental malfunction? How come you keep going on? How come we haven't broken you? How come you just keep moving forward?" And he said, "Look, you can take everything from me, including my life, except for one thing. You can take all of my stuff. You can even take my life. You can take my family. You can take everything except for one thing: how I choose to respond." How I choose to respond. And so focusing on that, focusing on my response is vital. Here, when we're talking about the emotional side, we say you have to control your emotions. You have to learn to control your emotions. Like your mind, like your body. You have to learn to control your emotions. And we turn it around this way. If you can't control your emotions, don't worry, somebody else will, and they'll probably take you out of the game. Right. What's the game? The game is whatever you're trying to succeed at. If you can't control your emotions, don't worry, somebody else will, and they'll probably take you out of the game. Now, let me ask this question. What would be worse? You can't control your emotions, so you take yourself out of the game? Would that be better or worse? I don't know. Get upset, say something, get upset, you imagine something, or you don't imagine it, but it's a 1 and you respond with a 10. It's the let's say the response should be, "That's moronic," or "That's what you believe? Huh. You believe that? Okay, cool." Keanu Reeves. 2 + 2 is 5? Okay, cool, great. That should be the response. But if the response is, "What are you, ignorant? What kind of people raised you? You don't deserve to live. You're a menace to society. I'm never going to talk to you again." Somebody says 2 + 2 is 5. Keanu Reeves says, "Hey, okay, good. If that's your perception, cool, good. If that's how you see it, great. You're entitled to see it how you want. I don't have to force you to see it the way I want you to see it. You can see it however you want." So Viktor Frankl would be, in a situation like that, trying to get me to respond in a certain way, to be able to say, "I get to choose how I respond." In the video today, you have some dishes, somebody breaks a dish, and you can respond by getting upset, or you can respond by saying, "Oh, here's an opportunity for me to not get upset." Cool, not bad. All right, let's go back. We're going to wrap it up today. Going to Las Vegas, Lost Wages. Going to be meeting with Dave Marlin. Interview, big interview. This is another big one. We had big ones for Pahrump. We've had good, solid interviews for Pahrump. Pastors, good, solid interviews. People who know how to think and talk. And this is the second big one for Southern Nevada. And with that, we're going to say, let's go make something happen. Home. Cut.